Did you see the notes I sent you?
I saw them. Yeah.
And you're not very happy about them?
No, I'm fine. Ooh, I lost an earpod. I have too much hair. Oh, the hair popped it out. Serious. The ramen popped it out. On your mark.
All standby passengers, see me at the podium. Your seat assignment.
Non Rev Lounge is a travel and aviation podcast. Monique, Lara, and Tyler are three friends that work for a major airline as gate agent, flight attendant, and ramp worker. During this podcast, they will discuss using their flight benefits to travel the world, as well as talk about things that happen at work. They have guests on almost every week to share their travels and stories, leaving tips on the best places to travel or things to do. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Non Rev Lounge. I'm Monique.
I'm Lara.
And I'm Tyler.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Are we
Did you
a couple
miss
weeks
us?
in now, though?
No, I think this is the first Tuesday of the new year
Perfect.
because we took off the last two for the holidays.
Uh-huh.
And hopefully everyone got a chance to celebrate or spend time with their family or do things that they wanted to do.
I did. I get to spend time with my family. That was fun.
I did too. We had a lot of family time. It was nice. Well, we're still having it.
Yeah, so Lara, you had a big party.
I had a big party. My daughter and her new husband came in from Virginia. So that was fun. And we had a little get together for them here. It was fun to see everyone. We had 80
You
people
had like 80
here.
people in your backyard?
Yeah. And in my house. And it was the only thing I disliked about it is I didn't really spend time with anyone. I felt like I didn't really get to talk to anyone.
It's because you just had to keep moving around just in that butterfly.
Yeah, but I didn't have to do the food because we had the taco guys in the backyard.
Nice.
That's kind of how I felt at our Dallas meetup. Remember that we had like about 80 to 100 people?
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun, but also like I went away going, there's people I'd never talked to the whole time because there's just so many people. So but it was fun, but also kind of like, oh, I missed talking to some of my friends that came.
Yeah.
How was Temple Square, Monique?
Temple Square was great. They're doing a lot of construction right now, right around the temple area. So it didn't quite have all the lights that it normally has, but it was still fun to go up and see it. Well, and two, they've done a lot of construction where I used to work. So I was a little bit disappointed because it just is all different than what I was used to.
And you wanted to show your family, what you did.
Yeah. So I was excited to kind of show them where I'd worked and specifically the tree I fell out of and it was gone now.
Do you want to take a minute and vent a little bit?
Monique. That's who you're talking to. I knew it. I knew it.
Vent about what?
About how you got sick.
Oh, well, we all got sick up in Utah. Well, not all, but
why did you get sick?
Because Tyler was there sick and he just laid on the couch and got everyone sick.
I went around touching people and breathing on people as much as I could. No, we got sick. It was the flu. I was thinking it was going to be COVID because I felt like it was a lot of the same COVID symptoms. Headache, sore throat. I was having 4 nasty fevers a day. I'd break it and then it would come right back and break it. And did your whole family get it?
Pretty much. I think Ellie Joe and Zachy are the only ones, but they still.
What about Hayden? Hayden get it?
Yeah, Hayden got it.
Yeah, almost all my family had it. Our parents had, like everyone that was in the house.
Everyone in that house.
I was patient 0 and I spread it to everyone. It was and it was over a week for every person.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So for our family, it started on Christmas morning. Tani woke up and was like, I don't feel good. And we were supposed to spend an extra day or two there. And I was like, no, like, you don't feel good anyway. You have a fever 102. We're not going to do anything up here. We might as well go home. You could be miserable, go to the doctor at home. So we got home, went into urgent care. And they tested for both flu A and B and COVID, and flu A is what came back positive for both of us.
I mean, that's how bad it was. You had to go to urgent care.
Yeah, it was one of those where we were like, we should know.
And flu, I mean, you don't take antibiotics for that, right? Because it's a virus.
No, the only thing they could give us was the Tamiflu, which it's supposed to shorten it by like 24 hours. So maybe like a little bit. But yeah, there's nothing they can really do for you. You just have to write it out. And they said, keep up on the like ibuprofen and Tylenol. Cause the body aches and the fevers were really bad with this one.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, you guys.
I had one appointment to go to urgent care after I was already home because I couldn't breathe. I woke up and I was struggling because my throat was like closing And I ended up canceling it because once I got up, it kind of cleared. But yeah, we had to cancel. We had a big recording with your friends.
Yeah.
That I feel bad because we had to cancel because I couldn't even talk. My throat was so swollen. I felt better, but I lost my voice for a couple of days. And you still had the flu. And so
Yeah.
You're on.
them, I know they made time for us because we were supposed to, because I still wanted to get them on, your friends, to
Oh,
say,
for sure.
because they go to Japan so much. And I was supposed to go to Japan tomorrow. We canceled the trip and this sickness is still going through my family.
Yeah.
The reason we wanted to do it right now, go to Japan, is next week when this show comes out, there's a big CES conference. It's a big technology conference in Vegas every year. And so our airline and a bunch of airlines fly extra segments straight from Vegas to Tokyo and to London. Lara's actually going to do London, right?
Yeah. I picked one of those. I didn't pick it up. I bid for it and got it.
So if you fly the opposite direction though, when all the people that are coming in, like right now, there was like 17 business class seats this weekend to Tokyo, I think tomorrow. And so there's a lot of people listed, but you can get a good seat going the opposite direction and then we'd come back and it looks really good. So I was kind of hoping to do that. I didn't want to say it on there because didn't want other people to listen and take my seats, but now I'm not going. Go for it.
So it's free game.
Oh,
Yeah, free game. Yeah. But yeah, so we canceled that trip. So that was kind of disappointing. But yeah, this sickness has been kind of beat us up.
it's a
So
long
hopefully
time.
our listeners have been healthy for the holidays, but
But
I finally feel like I'm back.
I say we still got to, luckily for my family, we still got to do some of the fun things we wanted to do up in Utah before we got sick. So that was good. And then it kind of hit us right in between the big wedding coming up. So, I mean, if we were going to get sick, that was a good time to get sick, but still a bummer to get sick.
I have something to confess to you.
What?
I was glad that your flights filled up more so I didn't look too stupid when you were trying to get a buddy pass on. Because I thought these are going to fill up. And if they didn't fill up, but you had a little bit of stress, didn't you? You all made
so
it.
this was our first time flying as a family with our oldest, not as like my dependent. So as like a buddy pass. And they looked great. Up until the morning of, there were still, there probably was 40 seats plus between like 3-4 flights we were looking at. So I was like, we're golden. Like there's no reason to stress. But I was like, let's just go early just in case. That was like, I mean, just if we can get up there. Plus then mom and dad wouldn't have to pick us up at 12:30 in the morning. I was like, it's just better to get up there. Yeah. But then, it came down to literally everyone was going to get on but Allie Joe. And so I talked to the gate agent. Yeah. And I was like, hey, here's the deal. Like if worst case, if we can't get her on, I'm going to give up my seat and she's going to go. And he first was like, you can't just skip everyone. I said, everyone else is going to have seats. And he was like, oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
It's not like you're jumping the line. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it really wasn't because everyone else would have been accommodated, played that game. And then, so we sat at the very end. It was just me and Allie Joe sitting at the gate and they were paging for one more person. And I said, you don't have to do it on the mic. I said, you could just do like a just talking level, like a page. And they were good. They didn't show up, but then they wanted her driver's license to give her boarding pass. And she panicked and she was like flipping through it and they couldn't find it. And I was like, just show them like a credit card, show them something. Cause you know what I mean? She had it to get through security, but finally she found it because they were then pressuring her. They're like, we gotta go. So then, when you're already pressured and trying to look for something.
It's worse. Yeah.
Yeah. We got her on, we all got on the same flight. So it was perfect.
I know I saw that you guys all got on. I was like, wow, yay.
Yeah.
And
I was glad you guys got on.
Yeah. Snarky part of me was like, me and Tyler, they got on.
Well, and the same thing almost happened on the way back though. Like it started to close up. There was a storm coming in. Dallas was having weather. And so there was going to be a few first class people. And I wasn't sure if I was going to get Allie Joe on again. And so I was like, hey, I'm not going to sit in first class because I didn't want that to have to trickle down at the end of giving that up. So I put Tani and Zachy in first. And then anyway, but when I've talked to the agent, she's like, I have plenty of seats. So yeah, it worked out great coming home too. That's awesome.
We had a little bit of stress both ways. We got it on all the flights, but going there, the gate agent was new. It was like one of our express partners and she was brand new. Like she didn't have a clue what was going on. And the manager that was working with her didn't know anything either. So I've got my 3 kids, but none of them were lap child.
Yeah.
And the manager's like, we have to have them all on one side because it was a CRJ. And I'm like, no, you don't. But I don't know all the stuff, but it wasn't going to be like, no, you don't. And
You
they
mean
were
about the
fighting to
oxygen
get us on
mask?
one.
We're talking about
Yeah,
oxygen masks.
but that's only if you're a lab child, and they need the extra one to come down. But that's what they were assuming. And then they were trying to put me in the exit row. And I'm like, I wanted, like, they can't do that. But he was trying so hard, and he was getting mad at her for not doing it. And she's like, I can't figure it out. But it's like, oh my gosh. They took a 35-minute delay to get my family on. This
No,
non-rev.
35
Yeah.
minutes?
We left 35 minutes late, and all that had to go was and then we got on, and there's someone in my seat.
Of course.
And so the flight attendant just sit next to it. And so then they send these 2 more non-revs on after us, and there's someone in the seat, and she couldn't figure out why it didn't match up. And I wanted to be like, it's because of him, not his fault, but you have him and me in this seat.
Yeah.
And so eventually they figured it out, and we left with one open seat. But it's crazy. And then on the way back, we're in Salt Lake, and there was only going to be 4 of us. And so I was like, okay, I'll just stop on Southwest, tons of seats. And then the gate agent said, the one before us is delayed. If you go now, you can go get on it. So we all got on. I got on the earlier one.
Good.
Actually had an open row on that one. No kids
That's
in an
nice.
open row. It's nice for me.
Well, that's nice that she recognized that and let you guys know. Because sometimes I'll do that at the gate too. Like if I've got a delayed flight, I'll call the other whatever and be like, hey, send your non-revs here. Like they're not going to get on yours. Send them to mine. Like we've got space. So it's nice that they were able to do that for you guys.
Yeah, but you're
they
really good
noticed it.
gate agent. You're proactive agent, Monique.
It's true. But yeah, it was good to be with family. It sucked being sick. At the end, I was like, I don't know if I would have known I was going to be sick, I would just stay home. It's not worth it. Oh, and if I tell a story about the tubing thing.
That was wild.
So there's a little tubing hill up in northern Utah, up in the mountains. Next to it, a ski resort we used to go to that has like 1 lift, right?
Yeah.
Like 1.5.
Yeah.
It's teeny. It's usually pretty cheap. They had a tubing hill, and they'd been kind of raining because it hasn't been super cold up there. Kind of like here, it's been pretty warm for this time of year. Our mom bought tickets for everyone to go tubing on Christmas Eve, like 13 people, including buying my kids all snow clothes because we live in Arizona and we had a few things, but went and bought used stuff at the Goodwill up there, and they drive up there and they were closed. It drove, what is an hour to get up there?
Wait, it was about an hour drive up there. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So drive an hour up there, and they're just closed, but she bought them that day. And so I kind of turned into a little Karen, and I wrote a nasty thing on their Facebook and a Google review. I said, why did you sell tickets if you weren't going to be open and they were closed? And
An hour plus all the snow gear.
Well, no one was there to actually tell us. We had to talk to the ski patrol that was working for the ski resort. And he's like looking over there. He's like, no one's there. Like, you're in the right spot. They're not open. And we were like, oh, well, then why they sell us tickets? And he's like, I don't know why they sold you tickets. But yeah, it was kind of a bummer that we drove all the way up there, spent money on getting, or at least my mom spent money on getting the kids snow stuff.
And they gave her money back, but still it's like they didn't do much. And they actually wrote me and they said, you don't need to put this on all the platforms. And I was like, people need to know that you kind of like screwed people over and you didn't do anything to fix it. So I was kind of annoyed about that.
Well, because that's it. It was over $500 for all of us.
For all those tickets.
For all of just the tickets.
Because it was like $33 a person.
Yeah. So it was pretty expensive. And the thing that was frustrating is they had a voice message on the day before that it told you they're closed. So then on the next day that she actually bought them, it was open up on the website. So like, why would you put on the website if you're not going to be open? So yeah, it was pretty confusing and frustrating, but we still had a good time. The kids kind of threw snowballs at each other and played in the snow at the resort.
I did see that.
Yeah, they made the most of it. And so it was all right. But it was the one thing that my family was like, we want to go sledding. Like we want to go tubing. I was a little bummed that was the one thing that wasn't really open for them.
I'm sure it was an accident. They just didn't turn it off to accept selling tickets. So they were just still selling them. But they also didn't do anything to...
You should have given her free tickets. Yeah. Sorry, you can't come.
Here's your money back. Yeah.
When can you come? And we'll give you free tickets.
Well, listen, even if they would have offered that, knowing that we're not going to be coming back because we live in Arizona, it still would have felt like they were trying to do more than just like, oops.
Salvage the situation. I know we were sick and I made her sick. And so that was... But what was some of your favorite things that you did up there?
I liked how you guys all opened presents. I saw Snapchats of that. I thought it was fun.
Well, one thing that was fun too is my family, they do matching pajamas every year.
Oh, yeah.
And they get that on Christmas Eve. But growing up, our dad was like very adamant that you never opened a present until Christmas morning. So we didn't do PJs. We didn't do anything like that. But I kind of had warned my dad and was like, hey, this is a family tradition. Like, we want to bring it up this year and do it with everyone. So it was kind of fun. So our family had matching pajamas. Chelsea's family had matching pajamas. Tyler's did. And then we got my parents matching PJs too. And
I love that.
yeah, so we all put those on Christmas Eve night. And it was kind of fun to see my dad and his PJs matching my mom. And he was pretty excited. Like, he was cute about it. He thought they were really soft and liked them a lot. So that was fun to see him all excited about being part of that when I didn't think he would.
Yeah, and you changed it. Now you have a new tradition.
Yeah. And then we did this thing at Thanksgiving Point. So it's kind of in between like Salt Lake and then the Provo area at Thanksgiving Point. It's called Illumination. So they have this just like huge area that they have just incredible lights everywhere. And so everyone went down, we walked through it and saw that. And that was really fun to everyone go and do that and see those all together because it's quite a production. It is really cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
I didn't go because I was already feeling sick, but the pictures looked like it was really pretty cool. But it was like a mile walk through the lights. Like, it was a long,
Probably, yeah. Yeah, no, it
was a big area with a ton of lights and all different kinds.
And you had to
So-
have appointments and you'd get tickets way in advance. But if you're in the Salt Lake area around Christmas time, it's definitely something cool to go see.
What's it called again?
I believe it's Illumination Thanksgiving Point. Yeah, it was super pretty. But yeah, our kids really enjoyed doing that. We did have a great time up in Salt Lake. Our mom had a lot of stuff planned out for us and great food. So we had a really good time up there. So thank you to her for helping put on a fun Christmas for us up there.
Good for you, Bonnie.
How was your Jacksonville? You
Loved
talked about that in
it.
the last show.
Loved that. So we got
Have you
into
been there before? Or no, you said no.
No. Well, I had been there 2 weeks earlier, but it was a short overnight. But
Okay.
we still stayed downtown, so it wasn't that short. But this one was, I came in on New Year's Eve, and I thought we landed at 11:30 at night. So my bad. No, we landed at 10:30, and we were actually a little bit early. And the captain brought his wife; she was on board, and so we had lots of time. We got down back to our hotel. It was hard to get to the hotel because they do all the fireworks at our hotel at the Hyatt, Mr. Hyatt Globalist, and so there was a ton of people there. Plus, Ole Miss was going to play. They had a lot of football people there. And so we got to the room, changed clothes, ran downstairs. And they have this big, beautiful bar. And as soon as we got downstairs, the fireworks, they announced that they were going to start the fireworks. Well, the captain and his wife ran right out there so they could watch it. And everybody left the bar to go outside to watch the fireworks. And Dave and I looked at each other. We're like, let's just grab a drink. So we went up to the bar because now there's no one there. And we sit down at the bar. The guy starts making it, and it's such a big, beautiful mahogany bar. Where it's a martini bar. So we ordered a martinis, and then they started doing the fireworks, and we could see right from our seat.
It's perfect.
So we had a lot of martini. Yeah, and they didn't last very long, and then everybody came back in, and so it was a good thing we already had our drinks, and that was fun. The next day, we did a architectural bike tour, and it's an e-bike, and I've never done an e-bike before, and it has like a little throttle thing, so you don't even pump at all. Your pedals are there, but I don't know. You just use this throttle, and you just go. And so we went over 20 miles. We explored the little area where it started, which is like where a whole bunch of mansions on the water and little stories about the mansions, which is fascinating. You know, people dying, people taking them over, people going bankrupt. No death though, Monique. I was looking for the true crime. There's
no murders.
no. And then we took the bridge all the way over to another section of Jacksonville, explored that. It was just really fun. It was a fun thing to do. And then we came back and there's lots of little bars right there. And so we popped in one of the bars and watched the end of the Peach Bowl, which was ASU. And yeah, it was so sad that right at the very end.
That one was wild at the end. Yeah, I didn't think they were going to come back like they did, but
I know. And I think we gave them good luck by the time we got back.
yeah, my parents have
That's funny.
e-bikes. They love them.
They're crazy. It was crazy fun. So, and then the hotel gives us a free New Year's Day dinner. So we had surf and turf. Yeah, we had steak and fish. It was a beautiful dinner. It was $62 value. And
Nice.
we had that. Yeah. And then the next morning we left. The flight was at 8 a.m. It was perfect. 2 whole nights there. It was nice.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Uh-huh.
When you travel like that for work with your husband, Do you sleep with your husband or do you stay in separate rooms? Because you get 2 rooms, right?
Yeah, we got 2 rooms. And we got them just down the hallway from each other. We do sleep together, but that way he can shower and get ready for the day, and I can get ready in my own bathroom. Kinda nice. When you have to be downstairs at 6 in the morning, it's really nice to have your own bathroom.
So it's kinda like you meet someone in the bar and they come up to your room, but they go back to their room?
It's like, do you guys role play? Did you have a different name for the weekend?
It's always Tiffany, my name. No, because you know what? If that was true, I don't spend the night. I would rather okay, you're out of here. Everything's done. You don't spend the night. But I like to cuddle up with Dave.
Big spoon.
That's right. I'm the big spoon.
So you go back to Jacksonville?
Yeah, I loved it. I'd go back again. The people were really, really nice. And Tom Rainey, our friend Tom Rainey, he said his family's from there. And I'm like, I can tell why it's so nice. They had a bourbon bar too. I've never even heard of a bourbon bar.
What you did on the flight, was it against the rules and we can't talk about it, or can you talk about
we
it?
could talk about it. We could talk about it. So
I thought it was awesome.
it was so fun. So my daughter at her wedding, she had these little glow batons that you turn on, and they have different lights on it. Sometimes they're solid, and you can press a button, or you can make them go off and on. And so they brought the rest of the leftovers for the party that we had at our house, and nobody took them at the party. And so I said, well, what do you guys want me to do with them? They go, well, we don't want to take them back home. I said, okay, well, I'll figure out something for them. So I took them on the flight, and I guess what? I had one for every kid on the plane. There was a lot of kids on our flight.
That's
so I had
awesome.
one for every kid. Yeah. And I walked through and I was showing him how it works. I said, okay, now right before landing, we'll turn out all the lights and then you can bring in the new year. And we had so much fun with those. We turned off the lights and we turned them on. The kids loved them. And then after the flight, and we all got in the crew van and we were driving out of the airport, you could see kids in the cars. They were getting picked up. You could see the lights. They were having so much fun with that. So I was lucky that there was one for each kid.
When you see those videos where it's all the girls going to Taylor Swift, and there's usually one person on the flight that's their face is like, what is going on? Because they're they didn't buy the ticket. They're just traveling. Was there anyone on your flight that was kind of like, oh my gosh, or was everyone enjoying it?
I think everyone enjoyed it, and I think so. I feel like they all enjoyed it. It was fun. One lady, her son was a little bit older and she was a little sad that I had one more, but it didn't work. And so her son, but he was in his 20s, but I felt bad because he obviously wanted one. I gave him my hat instead, my Happy New Year hat. I said, well, you can have the hat.
So will you do this next year?
Yeah.
On the 777.
I did last year on the 777.
It was very Southwest-ish.
It was Southwest-ish.
Which means fun.
It was fun. I loved it. Those kids loved it.
It'd be very memorable for those kids.
So
do we want to talk about our goals for 25 or Lara's aviation bar review?
You went to an Oh, you did go to that. I want to hear about that because I signed up for kind of the newsletter.
Email?
Yeah, because if there's openings or things, I want to try to go to it.
Oh, it's so cool.
So let's introduce it and then ask you and tell you about it because we've kind of jumped.
Okay.
So I think it was almost a year ago, we started hearing that they were going to put this aviation bar in Phoenix. And I think Beryl may be the first one that told me about it.
Beryl's the first one told me.
It took forever to open it. So it's finally open. We've had a few of our listeners that have been. So what is it? What's the name of it? What is it about? I know you went and I've seen your pictures, but we haven't talked about it because I wanted to hear about it firsthand from you.
Okay, so our daughter got us tickets for it. Apparently it's very hard to get tickets for it. And she was in Virginia, and the timing, they open it up on Mondays, and then you only have a few minutes to put in that you want. And so she put in for 5 and we got it. And it was the Monday right before Christmas. And that was our Christmas gift from she and her husband to us.
Oh,
so it was really fun. And it's called Carry On. And she printed up these little boarding passes for us for Christmas.
Cute.
This is how she gave them
it's
to
like
us.
That terrible movie.
Yeah. Just that terrible movie, Carry On. But mine has my name. It says from Phoenix to London. And everybody has a different one. And Erin's is going from Phoenix to Barcelona because she loved Barcelona. Everybody has a different one. And her husband had one to Rome. So it was kind of fun. And you can print this up off their website. And she also included the menu because you can't just, kind of have to order off the menu. but it's really cool. It's called Carry On, and it's downtown Phoenix. And you walk on, and it looks like you walk into this little room, and it looks like you're boarding an airplane. They have the sides of it, and you duck down and you get in. And once you get on, then they give you these cool wings, and they're metal.
Fun.
They're metal, yeah. And their little mascot is a flying penguin. And we all know
Cute.
penguins can fly, yeah. And so you get in and you sit. We sat down in they have a little booths, and I think only 30 people can fit at a time, and they have 3 different seatings. And so our seating was at 7:30 or 8, and you sit down, and they've got windows, just like an airplane window right next door, and then you get and they have little flight attendants, and they have the back in the 60s outfits, kind of on short skirts and long boots, go-go boots. And there were 2 flight attendants, one for each side. And then they had at the front of it was a bar, and the bartenders, make the drinks there. It was just a really fun thing. And then they say the pilot comes on and makes an announcement, the captain, and he says, I think we were going to Atlanta. No, San Francisco, Mexico City. And we start to take off, and your seats kind of rumble. Your seats move.
Oh,
rumble.
really?
It's pretty cool. Yeah. And if you look out the window, you can see yourself taking off. I mean, it's all
that's
fake.
fun. Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was just fun. And then you're only there for an hour and a half, and then they kick you out. And then about halfway through, all of a sudden it goes ding, and you look up, and the light, there's a light that has a picture of a martini in it. And the captain
Cute.
comes on and goes, "It's Martini time." And then the flight attendants come through with their little carts, and they're shaking the martinis and making you martinis. It was fun. There's no food there. They only serve warm nuts.
That was my only concern with going with Tani is the nuts situation.
Oh, yeah. Well, just tell them, and they won't put nuts down on your table. But that's the only thing they have food-wise. So we went to dinner at a place downtown where they did a tomahawk steak tacos. We had tomahawk steak. I've never had one of those before.
So did you call them stewardess because it was more back? That would have been appropriate in the 60s.
It would have been stewardess. In fact, so we brought them gifts.
Oh,
And when and I think they get a lot of aviation people because when the flight attendant came over and right before takeoff and introduced herself to us. And by the way, where I had the tomahawk steaks, that server there, we were telling her, "Oh, we're going to go to Carry On after this." She goes, "Oh, I work there too." She goes, "I'm a part-time flight attendant there." So it was kind of fun. So I asked our flight attendant if she knew her. She's like, "Oh yeah, I know her. I love working with her."
did you
So
say, I'm a full-time
anyway,
flight attendant.
that's what my daughter said. My daughter's so cute.
I'm an actual flight attendant.
She said, they're flight attendants, and then my brother here is going to be a pilot. And so it was just kind of fun. And she's like, "Oh, that's great." Like she probably hears that every single time. But I said, "Well, I brought you guys gifts because people bring flight attendants gifts." I said, "So I brought you something." So I had a little bag, and I had a few cookies and pretzels in my pocket. So I had those in there. But I had those bag tags from when US Airways merged. Those bag tags, I had probably had 100 of them. And so I grabbed a handful of those and threw that in that bag. And boy, they came around with a free round of shots for us.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It was great. It was definitely worth going.
Yeah, I want to try it out.
Do you pay a set fee and then you just like all you can drink for an hour and a half?
No.
Or
It's a set fee, and I don't know how much it is because it was gifted. But when you sit down, then they come by and they pour out of a martini shaker like a little shot, and that's your starter drink. And then they give you the menu, and you can order off their menu. But they're really fun little drinks. Like I like a gin and tonic, but it's not a plain gin and tonic. It says gin aperitif, black cardamom, tarragon, grapefruit, white wine, cinnamon, and tonic. I mean, that's like a lot. But so I ordered a gin and tonic, and then later on I had a martini.
So it was
When it
almost
was
more like
martini time.
the ice bar experience, but like an airplane experience.
In airplane, and there was a phone on the wall, and one of my girlfriends texted me while we were there because she was watching my Snapchats, and she goes, "Go pick up the phone." So nobody told us about the phone. I walked over there and picked it up, and you could listen to the flight deck talk.
Oh, fun!
That was pretty cool. And then there's a jump seat there too that you can fold down and sit on.
Cute.
Why people would want to sit on the jump seat. It's not very comfortable. But anyway, it was fun, and I think everyone should do it.
You say if you've been drinking, you can't sit there. So
no, you cannot
get up, ma'am.
You can't
Did
ride the
anyone
jump
throw
seat.
up?
Nobody threw up, so that's good. And when you
Okay.
land, it makes that you feel that too.
And it's just one way. You can't go back, right?
No, it's just one way.
Did you run into Dave's girlfriend in Mexico City or no?
No. I looked for her. Rosa. Yeah. Rosita.
You'd go again though.
I would go again. Martini time.
Yeah, it sounds really fun.
Can you bring your own food?
Yeah, well, yeah, if you could
Bring
sneak
out
it.
those baggies.
You know what?
eat those tacos you had?
Yeah, the Korean, you could have that Korean kimchi, which stinks so bad, and people bring that on the plane. Can you believe people bring that on the plane? It's like tuna. Don't bring that on the plane, people.
Tuna's okay. I've had tuna on planes. It's fine. Acceptable. It's acceptable. It is. Is anyone else not wearing pants or is it,
You're not wearing pants?
can you tell?
No.
I'm in
No, so let's talk about
loungers, but I
no
dressed up on
lounges.
top.
Business on top,
Yes.
what party on the bottom? So someone's having a big birthday this year. I want to talk about it
All right, it's
because
not
it's
me.
going to affect us.
Oh, yes, it is.
Who's having a big birthday? Oh, I know. Should we say it?
Delta.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Phoenix Sky Harbor. They're turning 90.
Yeah, who cares? They're
I
garbage.
knew you were going to say that.
Should we talk? I want to talk about their shooting too. It's such an exciting time for our airport.
That was actually kind of scary.
It was scary.
It
and
was.
I found out about it from Mo. She texted me on our group chat.
So I complained about him on the last show, and I actually had
Phoenix
some people
Sky
reach out
Harbor.
and say about Phoenix Sky Harbor, about yes, because when we were in Utah, how was Salt Lake decorated, Monique?
Super decked out. Wreaths everywhere. Garland going down all the moving walkways. Like, it's beautiful.
Like a Hallmark movie, right?
Yeah. Like, you're like,
Well-
it's Christmas.
Was
Yeah.
it inside past security also? Or is it
Oh,
only
yeah.
on the
And as
outside?
you walk
over.
out from the airplane, like
Everywhere.
into the boarding area, it's everywhere.
Out on where you drop the passengers off, they had stuff out there too.
Yeah, they had giant nutcrackers out there.
And Guillermo sent us a video, I think, from Amsterdam. And so, yeah. So anyways, Phoenix is pretty bad. I think people noticed after I pointed it out. Because even when we recorded, Monique was like, I don't think so. And then the next day you were like, oh yeah, like there's nothing here.
I noticed it too.
But we had the shooting. There was a shooting on Christmas night.
I think it was
it
Christmas night.
Eve?
Yeah. Or Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
It was one of those. Yeah.
Remember.
None of us were working. I think it was Christmas night because I was home. We landed that morning and I was, because Christmas Eve we were in Utah. But 3 people were shot and someone was stabbed, not past security, outside of security. And when I was trying to find information online, I could find it on our Facebook groups. That's why Monique saw hers. Our people were talking about it. The airport didn't share anything. They retweeted something from the city, but there was no information put out like, hey, you guys may want to.
But they did make an announcement, I guess, that they put people in a lockdown situation at the gates.
At the airport.
Yeah. Because my friend Erin that went to Anchorage with us, she was working that night and she said they were hiding in a jet bridge while they were doing like the search and stuff for it. So that's what she said. People were really scared because what do you do in an airport in a lockdown kind of situation?
Yeah.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, I bet the jetway was cold.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. So that was kind of crazy. I just I'm surprised there was more information out for people. I mean, they may come with the intercom, but there's no, I don't know, just something to get out there to people that are
Maybe
trying to find out.
in the next 90 years, they'll figure that out for you, Tyler.
So back to Delta's having their 100th birthday.
Happy
And
birthday.
the reason that we should care, what's that?
Oh, I just told him happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Delta.
Oh, happy birthday. Yeah. The reason that we should care is that the next year in 2026, United and an American are having their 100th birthday. So Delta's kind of set the bar for how they do stuff. And if and so I want to ask us, what do we want Delta to do so that hopefully our airline will follow suit when we have our birthday?
I hope they do a day like they do in elementary when all the kids dress up like they're old people. I hope that we get to do that one day.
You can do that every day at work already. You don't have to have a birthday to dress up like an old person.
Haven't you seen when those like the little kids dress up like old people and stuff? It's so cute. I think we should do that.
They go to school with walkers and stuff like that.
Yeah. Tyler's not impressed with my idea.
You know
I guess I'm being more selfish what I want from Delta to do. So I think Delta's going to do some special liveries.
Oh, really?
A couple years ago when British Airways hit 100, they did 4 big special liveries. They were really cool. I really got into seeing those come into Phoenix. So that was fun.
Okay, I want
And
that
I think
too.
Delta's going to do something. So I think hopefully we'll follow. If they do that, we'll follow. And more than just like Qantas had their 100 a couple years ago, and they just put 100 on the side of one plane. It was like, that's it. Like, just put us there. So I'm hoping that it's more than that. But
A20.
I know that they've already announced that. Remember, we talked about this already, that they're going to get rid of their buddy passes. And so I think that, and they're also going to be updating their cabins. That was another thing that they announced. So, and I know our airline's already said that, like, we're getting rid of first and they're going to be redoing the business cabins. So maybe that's all they'll do, maybe more.
That's not really helpful for employees, though.
Positive space
No, it'll be.
passes.
Yeah. So that would be a nice gift. Something to say, thank you for being with us. So we'll have to see if Delta does that, gives them free. So what else would you guys want to say? I know what I said.
I just said what I wanted.
I think the positive space tickets would be another really nice way to kind of celebrate.
I would like that even more than a dumb party. I mean, someone's going to have to work. They have those parties, and not someone's working. So some people have to miss it. So I don't want to have a party because who knows I'm going to have to be there, if I can be there or not.
You'll be there. You don't work that often.
Yep. Well, because I'm senior, but
also who wants to go? So let's say you're not working, then you're fortunate enough to be off. No one wants to go in to work on their day off, though. I'd rather just still have a day off. So maybe even just a week vacation, paid vacation would be nice.
Well, now we're going right back to positive space passes.
Yeah. And maybe Beryl could make everyone cake.
Oh, she probably could do that.
Everyone in our friends group, or just everyone in general?
Get started, Beryl.
Yeah, not to overwhelm her. Let's just do friend group. And we're friends. So
well, we'll keep watching and see what Delta does this year. And so hopefully they raise the bar pretty high. So that's my hope. Go for it. Go all out, Delta.
Yeah, do it. Yeah. Balloons and everything.
Don't hold back. Yeah.
I love balloons.
They already give out. I've heard their profit sharing this year is going to be huge. The Capital One, I guess I've been to one. I don't have the card. They get me in. But our friend Drew in Dulles, that's one of the places they have one. But he was saying that he's been saying for a while that they're not letting non-revs in.
Wow.
And so, but I hadn't heard that from anyone else. You have a handful of other people that are friends that go to them. And then we got a letter from, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Yoshina Hooper. She's one of our gate agents in Nashville. Did you meet her, Monique?
I didn't get to meet her, no, but I know the name you're talking about, though.
Yeah, she's very nice, and she wrote us and said that her husband got denied entry into Dallas one. And that was the reason they got the card, was to go to that lounge.
Yeah, that's frustrating then.
It sounds like, they changed their policy so that non-revs can't get in. So if you have the Capital One, you may not have access to anymore. People that have been to them, I really like the one in Dulles. It wasn't very big, bigger than Sapphire and Phoenix, but not huge. But I guess the one in Dallas is really big, and the one in Denver is really big. So,
and the gate agents, they don't understand like Monique does that. Hey, because I've been standing there before where they say, "Hey, can you just give me a seat assignment so I can get into the lounge?" Because that one lounge down in the high B's.
Yeah,
that one has
Centurion in Phoenix. Yeah,
a Centurion. And so I know that if you don't have a gate agent that's in the know, to just print out a boarding pass with a seat assignment on it.
Well, and they're even sending us out even later to work our flights now. So the thing is, you may not even find one that's even.
Yeah, by the time you get it.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
So that was because I was considering getting the card, or maybe being an authorized user on someone's card, which would give me access. But jumping through hoops. So I'm really hoping that Chase doesn't follow.
Yeah.
I really like that as non-revs we can go on chases. But yeah, so that came out. That was kind of disappointing because I even had said, even if Salt Lake got a Capital One lounge, I'd be happy for that because that's something we and non-revs would have been able to go in, but apparently not anymore.
When we're
So,
there enough, that'd be
that was
one that you would use then, yeah.
yeah, we go to Salt Lake enough that I would definitely do that. So on my flight to Salt Lake, I poked a flight attendant.
Oh, where? No touchy. No touchy.
Where did I poke him?
Like in the high knee or?
No, I think on his shoulder. So we're on the CRJ. We're in the very back. And the lady on the very other side didn't hear him. And so he was already moving forward. And those planes are loud because you're in the back of the CRJ. That's where the engines are. And so it's really loud back there. And I think I said something and it was so loud he didn't. So I just kind of like on the shoulder, the arm just to get his attention. What should I have done differently, Lara?
Well, how did he react?
He seems okay. I mean, it wasn't like, it was enough just to get attention, but not like, so he would just turn so I was trying to get his attention, but not, it wasn't a grope. It was more just like and a place that would seem to be as appropriate as you could touch someone.
Well, I think it's all in the reaction, like, cause you can, I just flew with a girl. Both of us are in the back alley. You poke me on the shoulder, you poke her on the shoulder, you're going to get two different reactions. So, I mean, I don't know. You have to just get louder, I think, if you're not going to touch and say, excuse me.
Just a light little.
I've been poked in the butt a lot. I wish I had $1 for every time somebody poked me in the butt to either hand me their trash.
If you were going to poke, why would you do it there?
I mean, that's where their eye level is. That's where they're sitting down and I walk by.
Yeah.
And my butt is right there. And you know what? It's a losing battle because I remember, when I was younger, I remember a guy touched me. I'm like, you just poked me in the butt. And he goes, no, I didn't. I said, yes, you did. And it was just turning this, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. Kind of back and forth. It's like,
I would have just held my trash
but you
longer.
have to ask first. Say, it's okay to touch me there. You have to ask first.
Now I'm like, oh, whatever, because it's like, they don't mean to touch me there. It's just where eye level, I'm standing up there, sitting down. But some people really don't like it. I'm like, man, maybe you should get another job. I don't know.
So I try to hold my trash up like this, like when the flight attendants are about 3 rows in front of me.
Oh, so they can see. That's nice.
Is that a good behavior?
That's very good behavior. And I just had to laugh.
Shake it?
Oh, you know what the best thing is is when you see the flight attendant coming with the trash bag, is to go like this and then just slowly finish your drink and have me stand there and wait for you while you slowly finish your drinks.
Would it be better if instead of touching, I snapped at him?
Oh, I think snap's worse.
That sounds like something you do for a dog. Yeah.
You got to do it right in their face. Whistle
at me. Don't snap at me.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. One more story. And then, because I want Monique's reaction to this, maybe Lara read it in our group chat. I'm not going to say the airline or the airport, but here's a story that actually happened and it involves skip lagging.
Okay.
A passenger was flying, this is back East Coast through a hub and then on to Boston.
Okay.
And they didn't get on the flight to Boston. And they were an unaccompanied minor as a skip lag.
Oh, no.
Look at her face. Look at her face.
Oh, no.
And that's that reaction that I had.
Well, how does that happen, though?
Our listener didn't see, he was the manager of something, but he didn't seem, so he looked up the phone number on file and it was a local number to the hub. And so he was like, okay, but I was like, but don't they stay? Isn't there someone that like walks with them to the gate?
Yeah, that's the chain of custody at some point. Yeah, how did they lose? That's an issue right there.
And so it said it was okay that they must have taken them to the gate and then left them. And so from there, they were able just to go. I was like, how are you not freaking out that a person like, if there's an unaccompanied minor that bought a ticket, even if it's skip, I'm getting him to Boston.
Yeah, 100%. Because they paid extra to make sure they got to Boston. Yeah.
Yeah. We've already talked about it. And there's times when even I understand why people skip leg. Even when I'm looking at points or miles to buy tickets, which is very rare, but it's cheaper. But I still don't think it's right, and so I don't do it. And I know people have said that, oh yeah, it's the airline's fault for charging more or whatever. But why would you do it with an unaccompanied minor? Like, it just seems like a terrible idea. And then I don't know, I feel like I would be freaking out if there was if the gate calls and like, we're missing an unaccompanied minor.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I'd be like, well, where are they? Like, we need to find. Or then,
Yeah,
then
it
like,
feels like that's, I mean,
great. If the Guardian showed
yeah,
up in the
you
hub,
would,
you go, okay, great. Now you're here to pick them up. We need to reprice this ticket. Let's see how much it's going to cost to end the ticket here. Like,
well, I think they
there's the
just
Guardian
walked
to
out
pick
because
them
I
up.
don't think even in the Guardian that came to pick him up, I don't think they can come through security because it's not the destination, like, right? They have to be like, just
They
meet
get a
me
pass?
outside. And I think they may have been like 15 or so they're still unaccompanied, but they weren't like a child, like a little, but they're still, I'm not sure what age, but they still
Well,
fit into that.
someone had to accompany them. I mean, flight attendants don't walk the UMs from gate to gate. So if they were connecting, then it had to be a different service or like Prospect, how they
Yeah.
do wheelchairs and UMs.
So yeah, so
So
either would
those
have been
people,
our airline employee, or it would have been, one that we contract out. So either way, someone should have been accompanied them.
yeah, they were accompanied. And then they were given over to the Guardian, I'm sure, on the paper. I don't know.
I was freaking out, and it wasn't even our airline, but I was like, oh my gosh. And I wanted to see Monique's reaction, that
Yeah.
she was
That-
felt the same as I did.
That's stressful.
Okay, so as long as I've worked for the airlines, I've never heard of that before with the UM.
Yeah, well, apparently this person got it to work out. Hopefully they filled out some reports and said, like, hey, this person, again, like, so.
Yeah, that one I would
I
definitely
know.
would have flagged and sent to like corporate security or whatever, like almost like.
We had a minor disappear on us. Yeah. And there's no, like, you would know if that plane landed in Boston and there's a parent waiting and it wasn't there. I mean, it would hit the fan, but still, like, the fact that they try to pull one off with a child on a flight to save a few dollars was crazy.
That's bad.
Yeah, that is crazy.
I like the repricing. Let's reprice this. I like that idea, Monique.
I wish that airlines could do that. When you buy a ticket in this small print, like, you pay a deposit, and if you make the whole trip, you get your deposit back. And if not, then you're charged that extra that would be the same as if you'd flown that route.
Well, that's it. A couple weeks ago, we had a couple that they were on their return flight and they were supposed to fly out of Flagstaff to Phoenix to Charlotte, and then somewhere else. But they showed up just to Phoenix. And I've talked to them. I'm like, well, what happened to your Flagstaff? Was there weather? Like, why didn't you take it? And they go, oh, no, we just drove it. And I was like, you can't just not take that first leg. And they were like, well, why not? And I was like, because the contract with us is all of them. So now their flight to Charlotte is boarding. I have to now reprice their ticket from just Phoenix to Charlotte on. And I have to try to do it in a quick time. Because if I don't get them on that Charlotte, they're not going to make their connection. Like, it became this whole thing. And I had to call like our rates and tariff department to try to price it out. Like, and they were just mad. They were like, but why? And I was like, you're the one who decided to break the contract on here.
See, I don't think passengers realize it. If you when we had old paper tickets, you turn it over, it says contract of carriage on the back.
Yeah.
And so, and you are entering a contract with that airline. And
now that's all online. So
you said you were going to start in Flagstaff. That's part of the contract. You broke the contract.
Yeah.
Skip lag.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, you got to be very smart about it and like very strategic on which ones you actually do, because it can get pretty hairy if you don't do it right.
Yeah, I think someone got in trouble for releasing that UM.
The thing is, they should at least probably do a little check into a little bit, some research. We have got a few complaints about some stories we've told on here. And I think we need to mention that the things we say on here are meant to be educational and
entertainment
value. And some of the stories we tell may not be true. I'm sorry if that bursts everyone's bubble. They may be partial truths. They may be other people's stories we tell, and they may be old stories.
And they may
Some
be
people have been
embellished.
working this airline for a very long time. I'm coming up on 16 years. I wasn't looking at you. But just because we've said stuff doesn't necessarily mean it's true as far as some of our work stuff. It's meant to be fun and maybe you learn some stuff. But yes, we don't represent our airline. That's why you'll never hear us say who we work for, even if you know.
Allegiant.
We appreciate you listening, but take it with a grain of salt. It's meant to be fun and not necessarily true. So sorry.
And I'm really bad about embellishing.
Well, I grew up with our mom, and so my stories probably get bigger every time I tell them.
But we do appreciate everyone for listening
We
and
do.
for joining us. We're excited for 25. It's going to be a good year. Hopefully we have our goals. Maybe we'll share them next week or in a couple weeks. We do have a guest next week. We're excited for that. We haven't had a guest since we came onto this video platform, and we've already recorded, so it's exciting. You guys are going to enjoy it. Thanks for listening and watching.
Yes, and if you want to get a hold of us, you can at the Non Rev Lounge podcast at gmail.com. Everyone, please stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Great job.
Good job, team.
I'm glad we mentioned that complaint.
This has been Non Rev Lounge. This episode was sponsored by Staff Traveler, which is the #1 app to get your non-rev loads. It is used by over 800,000 people from all airlines the world over and built to make your non-rev trips easy and stress-free. Sign up now for free at stafftraveler.com/non-rev lounge.
Laura, are you drinking tea?
I'm drinking, I make this little drink. I grind up fresh ginger and turmeric, and then I put hot water with it, and then I make ice cubes out of it, and then I use it for like a couple months. And I just pour hot water on top of it. So it's like
those
ginger.
immunity shots.
It's
burns
turmeric.
when you drink it.
Yeah, ginger, and then some of my lemon from my tree.
You know you can't get the flu from
You're
us
good.
over video.
Yeah, I know. You know, I had it first, you guys. I had it in the beginning of December, remember?
Wait, so we got it from you?
No.
We gets to golf today when the girls have errands and jobs to do. So this house is not really happy about that.
If he can afford golf in Arizona right now, he's doing pretty good.
He's definitely not paying for it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because Drew just golfed and it was like, woo!
Yeah, there were major meltdowns last night at his house.